Welcome back to the Behavior Code. I'm Gabriel.
And I'm Maria. Today we are diving into something that's right in front of your face every single day, but you probably don't see it.
That's a good way to put it. Let's just get right into it.
Okay, here's the opening shot. Most of what controls your life, you don't even notice.
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy way to kick things off, but it's so true, isn't it? It's kind of unsettling when you really truly stop to think about it.
It's completely true. We all walk around with this feeling, this core assumption that we're in the driver's seat, that we're making these conscious, deliberate choices about our jobs, our relationships, our happiness.
Right. The captain of our own ship, master of our fate, all that stuff.
Yeah, but what if you're not the captain? What if you're actually just a passenger and something else is steering?
And that something else is this whole hidden architecture of rules and patterns and biases that we never consciously learned. They just run in the background like an operating system. So here's the real question we want to dig into today for everyone listening. What if your entire life is a game, but you've never been told the rule?
And worse, what if you think you're playing chess, but the game you're actually in is poker?
Ooh, that's good. That's really good. Because it means you're making all the wrong moves for a game you don't even realize you're in. That's what we're unpacking today. The invisible, the not so obvious.
Exactly. It all starts with what we call the illusion of awareness. We think, I know myself. I know why I do what I do. I mean, it feels intuitive, right?
Of course it does. I chose this job. I chose this partner. I meant to say that thing in the meeting. But did you? Really? Or was it a script?
A script, I love that. It's like our subconscious has all these pre written lines. Patterns we picked up in childhood, from society, from everywhere. In our conscious mind, the part of us we think of as me just reads them out loud.
Yeah, and the conscious mind is amazing at what's it called? Post hoc rationalization.
Yes, it's the best at that.
It's brilliant at creating a story after the fact to make it seem like it was in control the whole time.
Oh, totally. It's the ultimate PR agent for our subconscious impulses. My subconscious decides it wants ice cream, and my conscious mind crafts a beautiful story about how I've worked so hard and I deserve a treat.
It really is. It's like when you drive home from work. You suddenly find yourself in your driveway, but you don't actually remember the last 10 minutes of the drive. The turns, the traffic lights.
Happens all the time.
Your subconscious drove. It handled everything. It knew the turns, the stops, but you weren't really there. You were thinking about dinner or a problem at work.
And that's such a perfect metaphor because a huge portion of our life is exactly like that. How we react in arguments, how we respond to compliments, how we handle stress. It's all autopilot.
We're running these deep ingrained programs without even realizing the program is on. We think we're writing the code in real time, but we're just executing a file that was written years ago.
And that's where we get into the really juicy stuff. Because it's not just our own internal patterns, it's the world around us. Society runs on these invisible rules. And it's not just big life-altering decisions. It's the small stuff too. The hundreds of tiny, seemingly insignificant choices we make every day. Like the route you take to work, the way you answer the phone, even the brand of coffee you buy.
It's a fascinating and slightly terrifying concept. It reminds me of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people with low ability at a task overestimate their ability. It's a perfect example of this illusion. The very incompetence that makes them bad at something also prevents them from being able to see how bad they are.
And it's wild how early this starts. Think about it. We learn to walk, to talk, to interact with our parents. All of that is programming that happens before we even have conscious memory. We don't remember learning the rules of our family. We just absorbed them.
Unspoken social rules. And it's not a flaw in our design, it's a feature. Our brains are incredibly efficient. They're always looking for ways to save energy. And the way they do that is by turning sequences of actions into automatic routines or habits. This process is largely handled by the part of the brain called the basal ganglia.
Yes, the things no one ever tells you directly, but if you break them, you feel the consequences immediately. You just don't always know why.
Give me an example. What's a big one?
Okay, let's talk about respect. This is a huge one. No one ever gets respect by walking into a room and saying, "Hey everyone, you should all respect me." It doesn't work.
No, it does the complete opposite. You look incredibly needy and low status.
Exactly. Respect is communicated and earned through these subtle, nonverbal cues. Your posture, the way you hold eye contact, the pace of your speech. It's about how you don't get flustered when you're challenged.
It's a language of behavior, not words. I could say I'm confident all day long, but if I'm fidgeting and avoiding eye contact, which language are people going to believe?
Always the behavior. Always. And the same thing goes for attraction. People think, they have these checklists. I want someone who's kind and funny and has a good job.
The checklist, right?
But attraction doesn't respond to a checklist. It responds to status, to confidence, to humor, to the way someone makes you feel. It's all happening on this sub-communication level.
Right. It's the vibe they give off. And most people are broadcasting signals they aren't even aware of. They're wondering why their dating life is a mess, and it's because they're broadcasting neediness or insecurity without saying a single word about it.
So, if this is all happening and these rules are so important, why don't people see them? Why do we miss what's so quote unquote obvious?
Well, the brain is fundamentally a meaning making machine, but it's also incredibly lazy. It loves shortcuts. We call these shortcuts cognitive biases.
The biggest one has to be confirmation bias, right?
Oh, by far. We don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. If you believe people are fundamentally untrustworthy, you will spend your entire life finding and focusing on evidence that proves you're right.
And you'll ignore or explain away all the evidence of people being kind and trustworthy. It won't even register. Your brain protects its existing belief.
Exactly. It's less work for the brain to confirm a belief than to build a whole new one from scratch. Thinking is metabolically expensive.
And then there are the emotional blind spots. I think, this is even more powerful than the cognitive biases.
What do you mean by that?
There are certain truths that, if we were to accept them, would cause us a lot of emotional pain. So we choose not to see them.
Like, maybe my partner doesn't really respect me, or maybe I'm not actually on the right career path.
Exactly. To accept those truths would force us to make a terrifying change. It would mean conflict, uncertainty, pain. So the brain, in an act of self-protection, literally makes us blind to the evidence. It's easier to believe the comfortable lie than the painful truth.
It's the old saying, it's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it.
Yes, but it's not just salary. It's his comfort, his ego, his sense of identity. It all depends on not understanding it. We're all fish who don't know we're in water. The water is our assumptions, our biases, our emotional blind spots. It's so ever-present, we don't even perceive it as being there.
And everyone on the outside, the other fish looking into our bowl, they can see it so clearly.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, think about your friends. You can see their patterns so perfectly, can't you?
Oh, 100%. I have a friend who has dated like the same emotionally unavailable person 5 times in a row. Different names, different faces, but fundamentally the same person.
And everyone sees it but them.
Right. And to them, each time they have this perfectly crafted story about why this time is different. Oh, but he's an artist. He's just passionate.
It's the rationalization again. I had a friend, let's call her Sarah. She was in a relationship for years with a guy who just clearly wasn't that into her. He'd cancel plans last minute, never talk about the future, hide his phone.
All the classic signals.
Textbook red flags. But she had an explanation for everything. Oh, he's just really busy with work. He's just not a big planner. He's a private person. She couldn't see the pattern because seeing it would mean acknowledging he didn't love her, and that was too painful.
It's not just relationships either. I see this constantly in careers. I once worked with a guy, brilliant programmer, like probably one of the smartest people in the company, but he was constantly passed over for promotions.
And he couldn't understand why?
He had no idea. His story was management is stupid, they don't value technical skill. But the obvious truth to everyone else was that he was terrible with people. He was arrogant in meetings, he didn't collaborate, he made his teammates feel small.
The hidden social rules again.
Exactly. He thought the game was about who could write the best code, but at a certain level, the game is about who can lead a team and make others feel motivated. He was playing the wrong game. And because his ego was so tied up in being the smartest guy in the room, he was blind to it.
These missed signals, they're everywhere. It's the job interview where you thought you did great, but you missed the cue that the interviewer was losing interest. It's the negotiation where you gave away too much because you didn't pick up on the other person's desperation.
Right, and this leads to the real core of it. What's the cost of not seeing? It's not just a fun intellectual exercise. There are real, tangible consequences.
It's huge. I mean, first and foremost, you miss opportunities. The opportunity for that promotion, for a healthy relationship, for a friendship with someone who is trying to connect with you. They're like little doors that open for a second, but if you don't see the door, you can't walk through it.
And on the flip side of that, you become vulnerable to manipulation.
Say more about that.
Well, people who do understand these hidden rules, they can use them to their advantage. A manipulative boss knows how to use guilt. A toxic partner knows how to use intermittent reinforcement to keep you hooked. A slick salesperson knows how to create false urgency. If you can't see the game, you're a pawn in someone else's.
That's a chilling way to put it, but it's true. You're playing defense without even realizing you're being attacked. But I think the biggest cost for most people is just stagnation.
Yeah, feeling stuck.
Exactly. It's living the same year over and over and over again and calling it a life. It's wondering why you keep having the same fight with your partner, or why you always feel unappreciated at work, or why you can't seem to get ahead financially.
It's because you're trapped in a loop, a pattern that you can't see. And you can't fix a problem if you don't even know it exists. You just feel this vague, frustrating sense that things aren't right, but you have no idea what to do about it.
And conversely, how liberating is it to finally see it, to have that aha moment where the pattern clicks into place? It's like the whole world shifts from blurry to high definition.
It's everything, because once you see the pattern, you have a choice. You're not on autopilot anymore. You can choose to react differently. You get your power back.
Okay, so this is the big question. We've talked about the problem. How do you do it? How do you start seeing clearly? How do you take off the blinders?
I think the first, most fundamental step is to become a better observer of reality. And that starts with one simple rule.
Which is
Observe behavior, not words.
the classic. Actions speak louder than words.
It's a cliche because it's profoundly true, but people forget it constantly. Words are cheap. Words are easy. People will tell you what they think you want to hear. They'll tell you what they want to believe about themselves.
But their behavior tells you what they actually value. Does someone say they prioritize their health, but they never exercise and eat junk food? Watch the behavior. Does your boss say they support your career growth, but they never give you challenging projects? Watch the behavior.
The behavior is the truth. The words are often just a story. When there's a conflict between the two, you have to have the courage to believe the behavior.
That's the hard part, the courage. Okay, what's tip number 2?
You have to learn to step outside of your own emotional reaction.
That sounds difficult.
It's very difficult. Our emotions are powerful. They scream for attention. When someone criticizes you, your immediate feeling might be defensiveness or anger, and that emotion completely clouds your ability to see what's actually happening.
So what's the move?
The move is to treat your feelings as data, not as directives. Acknowledge it. Okay, I'm feeling angry right now. But then pause, create a little space, and in that space, ask a better question. Why am I feeling this? Is there a grain of truth in what they said? What is this situation really about? It's about shifting from a reactor to an observer, even of your own internal state.
I like that. Data, not directives. That leads perfectly into the third tip, which is you have to actively question your assumptions. Your brain's first take on a situation is almost always the laziest one, the one that fits your existing biases.
Great. Your coworker doesn't reply to your email, and your immediate assumption is they're ignoring me. They don't respect me.
Exactly. But you have to challenge that. Really powerful mental tool is to ask, what if the opposite is true? Or what are three other possible explanations for this? Maybe they're swamped with work. Maybe they missed the email. Maybe they're dealing with a personal issue. It forces your brain out of its rut and opens you up to reality instead of just your story about it.
So, to recap, watch behavior, not words, step outside your emotions, and actively question your first assumptions. It sounds simple, but it's a profound practice.
It really is. And it brings us to the final and, I think, most important idea we want to leave everyone with today.
Let's hear it.
It's this. The biggest advantage you can possibly have in life is seeing what other people don't.
That's it, right there. It's not about being the smartest or the richest or the best looking. Those things help, sure, but the ultimate leverage is seeing the game.
It really is. When you see the hidden social dynamics, you can navigate them effectively. When you see your own subconscious patterns, you can break free from them. When you see the emotional currents in a room, you can communicate in a way that truly connects.
It's like having a superpower. It's like everyone else is fumbling around in the dark, and you have a flashlight. You can see the obstacles, you can see the path forward.
And it's not a superpower you're born with. It's a skill you cultivate. It's a choice to stop sleepwalking through life and to finally wake up and pay attention.
So, we want to leave all of you with one final powerful question to reflect on. A question to carry with you this week.
And it's a tough one, so be honest with yourself.
What is the one obvious truth about your life that you've been refusing to see?
Think on that one. Thanks for tuning in to the Behavior Code.
We'll catch you next time.